What if I told you, it only takes a few seconds, literally, to bring life back into the eyes of someone you love? What if just one simple recipe, made from ingredients you already have in your kitchen, could make him feel stronger, sharper, and more alive than he's felt in years? And I'm not talking about gimmicks. I'm talking about something real. Something natural. Something that's been quietly restoring energy, confidence, and even intimacy in seniors who were starting to fade right in front of their families. You've seen it, haven't you? That slow, heartbreaking change. The man who once used to laugh loud, move fast, fix everything, now sits quietly. Gets tired after a short walk. Starts forgetting names, appointments, why he walked into a room. Stops reaching out. Stops trying. Stops being himself. And maybe you've told yourself, it's just age. Maybe the doctors have said it's normal. But deep down, you know something's not right. Here's the truth, those little signs, loss of strength, fatigue, lack of interest in food or connection, they're not just getting older. They're messages from the body, asking for help. And the sooner you listen, the sooner you can do something life-changing. That's why this matters. Because the people we love, they deserve more than just existing. They deserve to live, with dignity, with joy, with spark. And in today's video, I'm going to show you something powerful. A magical recipe, yes, magical, that's been quietly helping seniors feel more alive, more focused, and yes, even more confident in ways we don't often talk about. Plus, we'll uncover 5 surprising signs that might be telling you it's time to step in, signs most families miss until it's too late. So please, don't click away. Comment, "Vitality matters," if you believe every senior deserves a strong, joyful life. And if you care deeply about the health and happiness of someone older in your life, go ahead and subscribe to Senior Care HQ. We're here for the quiet moments, the hard conversations, and the beautiful little wins that make all the difference. Let's get into it. Because this could change everything. Let's start with the one change that's easiest to see, but too often ignored. Loss of physical vitality. You've probably witnessed it yourself. Maybe in your father, your husband, or a neighbor you've known for decades. Take Mr. Jenkins. He's 78. A proud man, used to spend hours in the garden every morning. He loved it. The scent of wet soil, the rhythm of planting, pruning, harvesting, he said it made him feel alive. But then one day, he tried to lift a small bag of soil, and couldn't. Not without effort. Not without pain. He brushed it off. Said he must have slept funny, or maybe he was just dehydrated. His family nodded and went about their day. But the next morning, it was the same. And the one after that? He didn't go to the garden at all. He sat by the window instead. Quiet. Still. Watching the tomatoes wilt. Now here's the thing no one wants to admit. Most families see this and assume, he's getting older. That's just how it is. But that's not always true. In many older men, and women, too, this kind of sudden physical fatigue can be a signal. A drop in testosterone. A shift in circulation. Or even a silent nutritional deficiency that's been building up for months. Testosterone, in particular, plays a vital role in maintaining muscle strength, stamina, and mood. As levels drop, and they do, naturally, with age, energy starts slipping away. But when it drops too fast, too early, or too hard, that's when you see the garden tools collecting dust. That's when someone who once lived with fire, starts to fade into the background. But here's the good news. It's not irreversible. In many cases, a few simple changes can make a world of difference. It starts with what's on the plate. Magnesium is a quiet hero when it comes to energy and strength. And the elderly are often severely lacking in it. Foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, even a sprinkle of sea salt, can begin to restore what the body is missing. And yes, you guessed it. Those ingredients. They show up in the magical recipe I'll be revealing shortly. This isn't about pushing big pills or scary treatments. It's about tuning in. Listening to the whispers before they become screams. Because that moment in the garden wasn't just about weak arms. It was about a man losing a part of his identity. And with the right care, we can give that back. But physical tiredness, that's only the beginning. Sometimes, the fatigue doesn't show up in the muscles. It starts in the mind. Let's talk about that next. Now let's talk about something a little harder to notice, because it doesn't show up in the body, it shows up in the mind. Loss of mental sharpness. Trouble focusing. Foggy thinking. It starts subtly. Take Susan and her husband, Ray. They'd been married for over 40 years. Every Friday night, like clockwork, they'd curl up on the couch and watch an old mystery series. The kind with twists and turns and clues you had to catch in the smallest details. But recently, Susan noticed something different. Ray kept asking, "Wait, who's that again?" Or, "Did we already watch this one?" He'd laugh it off, make a joke, "Guess my brain's on vacation tonight." But she knew. Something had changed. See, when an older adult starts to lose focus, or forgets familiar details, it's easy to dismiss it as, just getting older. We tell ourselves it's normal. That it's harmless. But here's the truth, that fog. That slow mental drift. It's not just age. It's a signal. And it often comes from three major things. Dehydration, low B12, and poor circulation. As the body ages, it holds less water. The brain, already a thirsty organ, starts to lag. Add to that a drop in vitamin B12, which helps protect nerves and produce energy, and blood flow that isn't reaching where it used to. Suddenly, what looked like forgetfulness is actually a mind running on fumes. Now, the good news. There are ways to support sharper thinking, without making it complicated. Start with turmeric. Yes, the bright yellow spice sitting in your kitchen. Turmeric is packed with curcumin, a natural compound that reduces inflammation in the brain and boosts memory. Just a pinch in a morning drink or sprinkled on dinner can make a surprising difference over time. And, yes, it's a key part of the revitalizing recipe I'll be sharing with you in just a few minutes. But don't stop there. Hydration matters more than most people realize. Encourage your loved one to sip water throughout the day. Even small amounts can clear mental fog. And don't underestimate the power of a simple walk. 10 minutes outside gets blood moving, oxygen flowing, and neurons firing. Because focus isn't just a skill. It's a window. It tells us how present someone is with the world around them, and how connected they feel to it. And when that window starts to close, you can feel it in the room. The conversations get shorter. The eyes look distant. The laughter fades. But with care and consistency, that spark can return. And when it does, it feels like getting them back. But sometimes, the mind drifts not because it's tired, but because something deeper is slipping away. Let's talk about that next, something many families avoid, but shouldn't. Loss of drive. Loss of intimacy. Loss of connection. Now we're stepping into a space that's deeply personal. And for many, painfully silent. Loss of connection. Loss of intimacy. Low libido. Emotional withdrawal. It doesn't always look like something dramatic. It can be quiet. Subtle. Easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Peter had been married to his wife for over 40 years. They weren't the kind of couple that shouted their love from rooftops, but there was always a touch. A glance. A soft squeeze of the hand as they passed each other in the hallway. Little things. Things that mean everything. But then, it stopped. He wasn't cold. He wasn't angry. He was absent. Emotionally, physically, and intimately. He said he was tired. Said he just wasn't in the mood. But underneath all of that, was shame. He felt like a part of himself was slipping away. The part that made him feel strong, wanted, capable. The part that made him feel like himself. This is something we don't talk about enough, especially when it comes to seniors. There's this false idea floating around that affection, desire, even intimacy, somehow expire with age. That after a certain birthday, touch stops mattering. That longing fades. That being held is no longer needed. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Human connection isn't optional, it's vital. It's how we remember who we are. And when the body stops responding the way it used to, when desire dims without warning, many seniors don't speak up. They shrink. They isolate. They start to believe they're broken. But listen, this doesn't have to be the end of connection. There are ways to reignite not just desire, but confidence. And some of the most powerful tools. They're natural. Simple. And already in your kitchen. Beetroot is known for improving circulation, helping blood flow where it needs to go. Dark chocolate helps release dopamine, that feel-good chemical that lights up the brain. And a pinch of cayenne. That little spark can help wake up a sleepy nervous system and bring warmth back to the body. Combined, these ingredients help restore a sense of energy, heat, and self, especially in men who've started to feel like their fire is fading. And yes, you'll find all of them in the magical recipe we're building toward today. But more importantly, talking about this matters. Because emotional withdrawal isn't just a relationship issue. It's a health issue. It can lead to depression, isolation, and even faster cognitive decline. So if you've noticed someone pulling away, not just physically, but emotionally, don't just let it slide. Don't assume it's just age. It might be something they're too afraid to admit. But deep down, they want help. They want hope. Because this isn't just about libido. It's about connection. Belonging. Feeling alive in every way. And when that begins to slip, it doesn't just affect the body or the mind. It starts to touch the spirit. That quiet part of us that no one sees, but we all feel. And when the spirit is restless, the body rarely rests either. Let's talk about sleep. Or rather, the loss of it. Sleep. That one precious thing we never think much about, until it's gone. Martha used to sleep like clockwork. In bed by 9, up with the sun. Her mornings were full of warmth, coffee, crossword puzzles, and a gentle start to the day. But something changed. She started waking up every 2 hours. No pain. No nightmares. Just, awake. Then wide awake. Then restless. And by morning, she was exhausted. Emotionally drained before the day had even begun. Her doctor ran tests. Everything looked normal. No disease. No medication side effects. They told her it was just part of getting older. But here's what no one told her, that kind of fatigue. That kind of night after night of broken rest. It doesn't just steal your energy. It steals your joy. In older adults, poor sleep is incredibly common, but it's not harmless. It's not just something to shrug off. As we age, natural melatonin levels decline. Melatonin is what tells the body, it's time to rest now. You're safe. You can let go. On top of that, many seniors are low in magnesium, a mineral that relaxes muscles and soothes the nervous system. And let's not forget blood sugar. When it spikes late at night, maybe from a sugary snack or an unbalanced dinner, it can jolt the body awake like an alarm bell. The result? A full night's sleep, that feels like you never slept at all. But just like the other signs we've talked about today, this one, too, has answers. Real, gentle, natural ways to help the body remember how to rest. Start with chamomile. It's not just tea, it's a calming agent that's been used for centuries to soothe a restless mind. Then there's tart cherry juice, a natural source of melatonin that helps cue the brain for sleep without any harsh chemicals. And finally, a spoonful of honey before bed. It helps stabilize blood sugar just enough to prevent those 2 a.m. wake-ups, keeping the body gently fueled through the night. These ingredients are not only simple, they're part of the revitalizing bedtime blend in today's magical recipe. Because quality sleep is healing. It restores memory, lowers stress, strengthens the immune system, and, maybe most importantly, it gives the spirit a chance to recover. Because when you've been through a full life, decades of joy, loss, love, and change, you deserve rest that reaches deep. Rest that brings peace, not just quiet. But sometimes, the signs aren't just about tired bodies or scattered thoughts. Sometimes, what shows up is something far more fragile, far more overlooked. And perhaps, the most urgent sign of all, is a change in mood. Let's talk about that next. Joe was always the calm one in the family. The peacekeeper. The man who handled everything with quiet strength. But lately, something was different. It started small. He snapped at his granddaughter for dropping a glass. He yelled at the dog for barking. Then one morning, out of nowhere, he just started crying at the breakfast table. His daughter sat stunned. She asked, "Dad, what's going on?" And through the tears, all he could whisper was, "I don't know. I don't feel like myself anymore." That moment. That's the one no one prepares you for. Because when an aging loved one starts acting differently, snappier, withdrawn, easily upset, it's tempting to chalk it up to just being grumpy. Or worse, to start fearing something like dementia. But here's what many families don't know: mood is a biological signal. And more often than not, it's the body asking for help. In older adults, mood swings and irritability are often rooted in very physical, very fixable causes. Two big ones. Gut health and vitamin D deficiency. See, your gut is more than just a digestion center. It's home to trillions of bacteria that directly influence your brain chemistry, especially serotonin, the feel-good hormone. When the balance is off, like it often is with age, medication, or poor diet, your mood suffers. Then there's vitamin D. As we get older, our bodies absorb less of it naturally. And without enough, energy dips. Sadness creeps in. Even anxiety can rise up from seemingly nowhere. And still, many seniors go weeks, months, even years, without anyone checking either of those levels. But the good news? You don't need a complicated plan to start turning things around. Start with something simple, a small bowl of probiotic-rich yogurt in the morning. Greek yogurt, kefir, or even a spoonful of sauerkraut, these feed the good bacteria and help restore balance from the inside out. Then, get outside. Just a 20-minute walk in the sunshine every day can naturally boost vitamin D and lift mood in ways no pill ever could. It's amazing what the body can do with a little support. And yes, both of these are woven right into today's magical recipe. Because that's the truth most people miss, when our elders feel off. When they're tired, short-tempered, or distant, it's rarely just aging. More often than not, it's a gentle signal. A quiet call for nourishment, of the body, the mind, and the heart. So, you've heard the signs. You've seen how subtle they can be: a dropped hobby, a cloudy mind, a restless night, or an emotional outburst. But now, you're probably wondering, what exactly is this magical recipe everyone's whispering about? Let's pull back the curtain. Because next, I'm going to show you how these everyday ingredients come together into one simple, powerful blend, a recipe that could help your aging loved one feel more alive, more grounded, and more themselves, than they have in years. Stick with me, we're just getting to the heart of it. Now that we've walked through the signs, the signals our loved ones quietly give when their bodies and minds are out of balance, you might be wondering. Is there something simple I can do right now? The answer is yes. And it comes in the form of a surprisingly powerful little blend, something I like to call the Vitality Blend for seniors. You can think of it as a morning magic, a natural, nutrient-packed drink to gently wake the body, nourish the brain, and restore what time and stress have taken away. And the best part? You don't need a fancy kitchen. You don't need to spend a fortune. Just a few everyday ingredients, mixed with care. Here's what you'll need. Half cup of beet juice, rich in nitrates, it helps improve blood flow, energy, and even cognitive function. It's nature's way of getting things moving again. 1 teaspoon of raw cacao, not the sweet chocolate you're used to, but raw, unsweetened cacao. It's full of antioxidants and mood-boosting compounds that help support the heart and brain. 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, just a pinch. It stimulates circulation and warms up the body from the inside out. Half teaspoon of turmeric, a golden healer. It fights inflammation and protects the brain. 1 teaspoon of honey, to soothe, to sweeten, and to provide a steady energy release. Raw honey also has natural antibacterial properties. A pinch of sea salt helps restore electrolytes and supports adrenal function, especially in seniors who often don't. They're tiny, but powerful. Now, to prepare it. Just blend everything together. It takes less than a minute. And when it's ready, have it first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach. Let it be a quiet moment. A fresh start. A way to say to the body, I see you. I'm here. Let's begin again. Why does this work? Because each ingredient serves a real, biological purpose. They're not trendy. They're timeless. Beet juice enhances circulation. Cacao lifts mood and protects the heart. Cayenne wakes up sleepy blood vessels. Turmeric calms inflammation in the brain. Honey supports stable blood sugar. Salt replenishes lost minerals. Chia hydrates, gently detoxifies, and sustains energy. Put it all together, and what you get is more than just a drink. You get a shift. A subtle, powerful nudge in the direction of vitality. You may not notice a dramatic transformation overnight, but give it time. Give it consistency. And slowly, the spark returns. Eyes brighten. Sleep deepens. Energy rebuilds. Confidence begins to show up again in the little things, the walk around the block, the warmth in a conversation, the quiet hum of someone who feels alive again. Some people have started calling it nature's little blue drink. Why? Well, it's been known to restore strength and passion in ways that are, let's just say, unexpected. Does it really work? That's for you to decide. Try it for a week. Watch closely. And if you do, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you noticed. Because sometimes, the smallest changes, lead to the biggest breakthroughs. And we're just getting started. Watching someone you love, someone who once lit up a room with their stories, their strength, their spark, slowly fade into a shadow of themselves. It's one of the hardest things we can experience. You see it in their eyes, the hesitation, the quiet frustration, the question they don't know how to ask, what's happening to me? And it hurts. It hurts because you remember who they were. You remember the laughter, the long walks, the warmth of their hand. And now, it feels like they're slipping through your fingers. But here's the truth, you are not powerless. You're not just watching. You're noticing. You're learning. You're showing up. And that's the most powerful thing you can do. Because now you know the signs. You know what they mean. And you know there's a simple, natural way to begin restoring what time has taken. That's not fear. That's preparedness. That's love in action. So if even one of these signs rings a bell, if someone you care about has been unusually tired, foggy, disconnected, or just not quite themselves lately, please, don't wait. Talk to them. Sit down. Open the conversation. Say, I saw something today, and I think it could help. Then share the magic. Make it together. Drink it together. Because healing doesn't always come in hospitals or prescriptions. Sometimes it begins in the kitchen. In a shared cup, in a moment of connection, in the quiet decision to try. Aging doesn't have to mean fading away. With care, attention, and a little daily support, it can mean rising again. It can mean reclaiming strength, restoring joy, rediscovering purpose. Aging can be a return to self, not a goodbye. So let's bring it all back. Remember the 5 key signs we talked about. 1. Loss of physical strength or stamina. 2. Mental fog or trouble focusing. 3. Low libido or emotional disconnection. 4. Restless nights or poor sleep. 5. Mood swings or sudden irritability. These aren't just normal signs of aging. They're signals, calls for care. And now, you know how to respond. You've got a natural tool in your hands, a simple morning blend that supports the body, the brain, and the heart. You've got knowledge. You've got awareness. And most of all, you've got hope. Let's keep the conversation going. Which of these signs have you seen in someone close to you? Or maybe you felt them yourself? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might read it and feel less alone. And if this video gave you even one useful insight, subscribe to Senior Care HQ. We're building a space where elder health is understood, respected, and celebrated. Where solutions are simple, natural, and grounded in love. Because seniors don't just deserve comfort, they deserve vitality, dignity, and joy. So thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. And thank you for choosing action, no matter how small. Stay informed. Stay compassionate. And remember, every small act of love can mean everything to someone who's been silently struggling. Take care of them. Take care of you. And we'll see you next time.